you want to hit a 225 bench or even a 315 bench, watch this video because I'm going to break it down to 3 parts on how you can get a stronger and better bench. So this is going to be a different way of making how-tos or how to get stronger, like those kind of videos. I'm trying something different, so we'll see how it goes. We're going to break it down into 3 parts. The first part is going to be the exercises that we can do, or at least what I've done to be able to bench at least 405. Second part is going to be what are some things that is very important aside from just going to the gym and benching. And the third part is what are the specific techniques and cues we can do to help our bench hit that 225 or 315 mark. So this part 3, this is where I'll give you guys a secret sauce. All right. The first part is exercises we can do to get a better bench, and that will help complement the bench press. This is pretty straightforward, but a lot of people think that the more we bench, the better we'll get, which is true to a certain extent, but the bench press can only help us so much, to the point where we got to do something else in order to get a better and stronger bench, right? Let's break it down. The bench press requires a chest, shoulders, and triceps. If you want to be more technical, the lats or the back as well. Right? So these are the main muscle groups for the bench. Just like if we're doing legs, what are used in the squat? Your quads, your glutes, hips, right? So pretty straightforward. And so what we need to do is essentially we need to make these muscle groups stronger and build more muscle. Let me tell you the best exercise that I've done in order to grow my chest, triceps, and shoulders. And they're all mainly compound exercises. So these exercises hit multiple muscle groups. And then the more isolation ones, I'll show you guys as well. But my go-to guys are dips, incline, barbell press, skull crushers, and lat pull downs. God damn, don't mind that P. There we go. So these are the main exercises that I never skip. I always do these exercises because number one, they're compound exercises, especially the dips, lat, and incline. To really target the triceps specifically, I do the skull crushers. So all of these are going to, one, grow my muscles, my chest, shoulders, triceps, and back, and two, make them stronger. Essentially, what I do is for them, I like to do at least 2 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. I kind of alternate week by week. So, for example, for dips, I'll do dips for 8 reps, and then the next week I'll do dips for like 12 reps, right? But what you want to make sure is when you're doing these exercises for especially 2 sets of 8 reps, you want to make sure that from the start you are really pushing the weight. You're lifting with intensity, with intent, and you're just not going through the motion, okay? So you want to make sure that you're struggling by like the 7th rep, okay? When it comes to the 12 reps, yeah, you know, I get a moderate weight, and then I just make sure that I'm, you know, still pushing, but I'm not just half-assing it, right? These are the exercises that I personally did for a long time to grow my bench. But of course, you can still add like your other stuff, like your lateral raises, face pulls, your tricep rope push downs, chest press machine, pec flies, all that kind of stuff. But these main exercises are like the go-to that I've done in order to explode my bench from like, I think it was like a 315 to 365. Okay. So now the second part is what you guys need to do outside of the gym / benching. So This is very important, and it is something that I've realized recently that I wish I knew a long time ago, because I probably would have been a lot stronger in my bench. But it is what we are doing outside of the gym. For example, sleep, eating, resting, recovering, and just staying hydrated. So the main things, god damn, don't mind my writing. Nutrition, sleep, hydration. Okay? But what I'm going to talk about mainly is nutrition and the sleep. Okay? Hydration, everyone knows, just drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, right? But nutrition, so if we want to get stronger and build muscle, this is relating back to part one with getting stronger and building the muscle. What do we need to do? We got to eat good. We can't obviously overeat and binge eat a lot of unhealthy fast food, but we also don't want to undereat where we're eating once a day or twice a day, but like those 2 meals are like jack shit, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure we are eating a lot of protein, fats, and carbs. Whoa. That looks like, fuck, I don't even know what that looks like. Hold up. And carbs. So when we are talking about strength training and especially SBD, this and this are the most important factors. Obviously, fats and all the other kind of stuff are important too. So protein is going to help us rebuild the muscle tissues that we broke down in the gym and make them bigger and stronger, right? Carbs, on the other hand, is what we need to fuel our body when we are lifting. So obviously having carbs before a workout, an hour or two before a workout, it's going to help you fuel yourself and get ready for the workout. Want to make sure that you are at least eating, I'd say, around 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per body weight. So for example, for me, I'm like 205, which means, at most I'm going to eat 205 grams of protein. But if I can bump it up, I will. Minimum, I'd probably eat like maybe 180, 190, right? I can't do the math right now. I don't know what the fuck 0.7 times 205 is, right? But you get the point. Carbs is the fuel for your body. So what I like to do is before the workout, I like to eat rice. Depending how much time I have, before I start my workout, rice is good. If I'm last minute going to the gym, what I'm going to eat is a rice cake, honey. What else? Oatmeal is good. Even candy. I even eat candy during during or before the workout just to get those carbs and sugars, right? So I'm no scientist, but this is like the most basic thing that you want to do with the nutrition. You get what I'm saying. So next thing is sleep. So sleep is obviously how many hours of sleep you're getting. I would say 6 to 9 hours. But it's also not just how many hours you're getting, but you want a consistent schedule. So what I mean here is one day you sleep at 1 a.m. and then you wake up at 10 a.m. Another day you sleep at 10 p.m., you wake up at 9 a.m., right? So you want to make sure that not only that you're getting at least 6 to 9 hours of sleep, I'd say maybe 8 is the sweet spot, but honestly, I don't know. Speaking from experience, I slept 9 hours and I still felt like I was tired. I had brain fog, and I just didn't feel well rested, right? Compared to when I slept 6 hours, I felt pretty good. I felt like I had a lot of energy in me after a long day of work and then going to the gym. I felt pretty good, right? But it's a consistent schedule that will make the biggest difference. So nutrition and sleep is very important, and once you keep this in check, your bench will get so much better. Not even just your bench too, just like your overall gym progress too, right? But this is just like something that I want to talk about to help your bench out, right? And just a hydration. Drink 3 to 4 or even 5 liters of water, especially if you take creatine. So now let's get to the juicy part. Part 3. What things that we can do specifically when we are benching to get a better and stronger bench press. So I'm going to list, this line's bothering me, the top 5 best things you guys can do to instantly feel a difference on your bench, but also start to put numbers on your bench as well. So first thing, let's start from bottom to top. So first thing is going to be leg drive. If you are not using leg drive, you are literally nerfing yourself. Leg drive will literally increase your numbers by a lot because it's not just your upper body doing most of the work, it's also your lower body helping out and pushing the weight up, right? And so leg drive, it can be kind of iffy because it's hard to find that right spot for your leg drive. But for myself, what I found that helped the most was keeping my feet flat on the floor, and on top of that, side note, finding shoes that are really grippy on the bottom and putting my feet closer under the bench and then opening my legs a little bit more than usual, right? So you will know that you are using leg drive when you feel your glutes and your quads engaged during your bench. I'll probably make a more in-depth tutorial on how to do leg drive, but doing this, I've benched with leg drive, and it's gone to the point where I would pull like my quad or like my ass cheek and it would fucking kill me, bro. But that's how you know you're using it, when those muscles are being engaged and you kind of feel like that burning sensation. Mind you, that when you were doing the leg drive, I'll probably put a clip somewhere here, that the leg drive should be initiated before you even unrack the bar. Okay? A lot of people, what they do is they engage the leg drive or they activate the leg drive when they start to press the bar off their chest, right? But what you want to do is you want to have the leg drive from the start, from the get-go. Next tip is your back. Into the bench. So assuming that you already have your leg drive ready to go, the next part is digging your back into the bench. And so what this does is that it helps keep yourself more stabilized and to create that tension throughout your whole body to just make the bench feel a whole lot better and stronger, right? So there's a lot of ways to do this, but what has helped me was, I'll probably put a clip up so you guys can see it better, is I grab the bar and I push myself away from the bar until my elbows are locked out. Then what I do is, with the bar, I push my hands into the bar and I use that counter force to push my back into the bench. So I'm not only digging my back, but I'm also digging my traps into the bench. So once I do that, I can create a nice natural arch and still keep my legs engaged. And then from there, I bring myself into the bench up until like the bar is like in between, I'd say like my chin and my nose, right? So somewhere in between my chin and nose, when I see the bar like right here, that's when I stop digging my back into the bench. So at that point, I start to feel the tension, everything's nice and tight, and I'm good to unrack. Next part is what we just talked about. Unrack. So how do we unrack? When I unrack, I want to make sure that I'm not unracking by pushing up and out. I want to think about more pulling the weight out. So it's like thinking about where I'm doing like a pullover. This is where the back is very important, because you want to think about engaging your lats and then pulling the bar above you. So it's not like an up and away. It's more like a one smooth motion of up and then pulling out. You know what I mean? Like, once again, I'm probably gonna put videos on the screen just so you guys can have a better visualization of this. But this has helped me really save a lot of energy so that I can bench heavier, right? And I don't leak any energy. I use my lats to help unrack, and this helps me because I also keep the tension and my back tightness there instead of like pushing out. So instead of like pushing up and away, if I'm pushing up, then I already lose tightness on my back. My back isn't tight anymore. And so I have to readjust, and then I have to retract my shoulder blades, engage my lats again. And sometimes from this experience, yeah, I'm able to like engage one side but not the other side, and then just felt weird, right? So that is my tip for the unrack is instead of thinking about putting out and away, think about engaging the lats and pulling the bar in front of you. So now the next part is bracing. It looks like a B. Hold up. Bracing. Okay. So bracing, just like any lift, is very important. But typically bracing is when you take a deep breath into your core and you hold it on the eccentric movement, and you release it when you're done your rep, right? For the bench, this has helped me a lot because the whole point, especially if you're a powerlifter or you're just trying to hit rep PRs or just like 1 rep max, right, is you want to try to get the least range of motion and complete the rep. That's literally the whole point of powerlifting. So like, what are some ways we can kind of like cheat our way through in order to get that rep, right? Is shortening the range of motion, leg drive, arching the back, etc., right? So when it comes to the bracing, of course I still brace into my core, but one thing that has helped me limit and decrease the range of motion is taking a deep breath into my chest as well. So you can notice a difference when you're bracing into your core. You take a deep breath into your core, you're like, all right, whatever, cool. But when you brace and take a deep breath into your chest as well, your chest expands and it grows. It grows taller. And so it kind of it decreases the range of motion. So you have the bar right here, and then you have your chest. So when you take a deep breath, boom. Now there's less range of motion that you gotta do, right? And who doesn't want to do that? It makes the bench a whole lot better. And so the last thing is the bar path. So the bar path is when we're looking at it at a side profile, it's how the bar path is moving from the top to the bottom and back up. So let's say I'm gonna make a big diagram. Let's say this is a bench press, right? The weight is right here. And yeah, boom. Okay, you're benching, right? So your hand is right here. Let's say the circle is the barbell. It's the barbell from the side profile. You can't see it, right? This is a side view. And so what a lot of people do is they go down and up. Or even worse, down and like out, right? And this is where you like put the barbell here, right? This is where you unrack it and re-rack it, right? And so what a lot of people do is this. This is what we do not want. What we want with the bar path is going down to the chest like this, a curve, aka J curve, and then coming back up the same way. This is the most efficient bar path you guys can do when you're benching because it improves leverage at lockout and it keeps the bar balanced over your base of support. And on top of that, it puts the pecs on a stronger line of pull. This will help the wrists be more stacked over the elbows so that you're more stabilized and that you can utilize all of your muscles when it comes to the bench. So if all is done correctly, you're pushing, you're working hard in and outside of the gym, then you'll start to notice a big difference in your bench. Not just by the numbers, but also how the bench feels overall as well while you're benching. So like, comment, all that kind of good stuff. Just put in my school community out here. Anyone want to join? I'm going to be posting powerlifting and strength videos on tutorials, all that kind of good stuff, just overall gym content. So if you like all that and you're interested, join this. Link is in the description below. But other than that, guys, good luck, get stronger, live safe. Until next time, peace.